We are finally free from the Derek Carr era. We are free. What a beautiful, beautiful day in Saints history. We are free from Derek Carr. He is officially retired. That's right. You heard that right. You're seeing what you're seeing on the screen correctly. Derek Carr has officially retired. And this play right here was his final one in the NFL. Holy hell, this is insane. Nobody saw this coming. I woke up at 7 or 8 a.m. this morning, saw the notification, and I haven't been to sleep since. This is a historic day, man. What a way to kick off the summer. I literally just finished my classes and all my finals yesterday. What a way to kickstart this summer that I'm about to have. And what a way to start off the Kellen Moore in this new era of Saints football. Before I continue, make sure to subscribe if you're happy about the retirement of Derek Carr in this new era of Saints football. Help us get to 10K. Subscribe, like the video for more NFL and Saints content. And with that being said, let's talk about the Derek Carr retirement. Saturday morning, it was reported and announced that NFL quarterback, former Saints and former Raiders quarterback Derek Carr would be retiring from the NFL, according to Nick Underhill. Derek Carr tried all his options to get back on the field and ultimately decided against having another surgery and will retire. We'll get more into the details of the injury. And Nick Underhill says the Saints will recoup the money from this offseason restructure and will get cap relief. We'll talk about the cap space, the injury, the Saints quarterback, all of that in today's video. But let's start off with Derek Carr's retirement. This is something I don't think really anybody saw coming. Kellen Moore said that he told Tyler Shuck this morning about the retirement of Derek Carr. So really, this is very recent news, and this wasn't something that was decided a while ago. A week ago, it kind of felt like the options for Derek Carr was miss the 2025 season while getting shoulder surgery, or play through it, deal with the injury or something like that, or be cut and traded, whatever it is. But Derek Carr, I'm assuming, retired due to the fact that he needed surgery and felt like retiring was just what was best for him and his family. Some additional input and information about this injury and why Derek Carr retired was that he suffered a labral tear and also had significant degenerative changes to his rotator cuff. Ryan Ramczyk had a degenerative knee. Over time, it just wears and tears, and eventually he just wasn't able to play on it. I'm assuming this was the case for Derek Carr. They could have maybe done surgery or something, but it wasn't to a point where it could be fixed. And that's probably what led him to the retirement. That's a pretty significant injury. That sounds pretty damn painful, and definitely something, I hope he recovers from. And then Ian Rappaport gave some more input as to the options that Derek Carr tried to do. He dealt with the shoulder injury that requires surgery. So the conclusion was that he needs surgery that would knock him out for the 2025 season, but he is now retiring. And while Derek Carr tried to inject something into his shoulder and rehab it a certain way to where he wouldn't need surgery, it wouldn't allow him to be 100% until another procedure. I'm assuming he didn't want to have the procedure or have the surgery, ultimately leading to him retiring, which I think for the Saints and for the fans is best case scenario, but obviously not best case scenario for Derek Carr. I'm sure Derek Carr wants to keep playing football, but his shoulder just won't physically allow him to. And for the Saints, this was best case scenario because one, he's not on the team and it doesn't feel like there's this heavy dead weight or gray cloud over the team. Two, you can move on to this new era. And three, him retiring helps you cap-wise and money-wise, and you don't have to cut or trade him and deal with the dead money cap hit. We'll get into the numbers later, but realistically, Derek Carr retiring is the best outcome for the Saints. Now, I know a lot of us did not like Derek Carr, and I think we can all agree that it was best for all parties involved that Derek Carr retired and that both sides are moved on. Derek Carr is moving on to being, I'm assuming, a family man and using his YouTube channel to post content, and the Saints are moving on and looking towards the future. I think we can all agree that it is best that it ended this way for both sides, just kind of parting ways. But Derek Carr's a person. I do wish him the best and his family the best in his retirement and in this next stage in his life. I'm not a big fan of Derek Carr, the football player, but Derek Carr, the person, I am wishing him the best. I hope he recovers well from this injury, or at least doesn't have to deal with a whole lot of pain moving forward. Hopefully it's something he can get figured out. I know their family has been dealing with some personal stuff recently. Derek Carr shared they had a miscarriage earlier this offseason, so they've been going through a lot of personal stuff. Then Derek Carr has this injury and it's painful and this big decision. So realistically though, and honestly, wishing him personally the best in this next stage of his life as he is retiring. His time in New Orleans wasn't the most pleasant, but I do think he was a good quarterback. who had a pretty good career, was put in some bad situations, but also wasn't a guy who could get a team over the hump. But I still think he was a solid quarterback. It just wasn't the right fit in New Orleans. Alright, so I know a lot of you are probably curious of what this means for the cap space. We mentioned it a few times throughout the video that this really does help out the Saints in terms of the cap. We all know that the Saints restructured Derek Carr's contract earlier this offseason, giving him $40 million guaranteed, and at the time was basically guaranteeing that he would be on the team as the starting quarterback, but that was before we knew about the injury. And after the restructure, we knew if they were going to cut or trade him, it'd have to be post-June 1st, and there'd be a lot of dead money cap it, and the Saints, would they be able to take it on? There's a lot of questions. Would a team trade for him? But the retirement is a little bit of a different situation, and it's also because Derek Carr really helped the Saints out. From what I understand, Derek Carr is keeping the signing bonus, which is only $10 million of the $40 million that was guaranteed to him about a month and a half ago. And the Saints will be getting back the other $30 million, which would have been his salary. They're getting that back in cap space, which is something that Derek Carr didn't have to do. He could have just went to IR, took the $40 million and retired next season. But he retired now and gave $30 million back to the Saints. That was something he was willing to do, and it was something that it's something that had to be negotiated. So in the end, the Saints got a huge favor from Derek Carr, and the Saints fans should be grateful for Derek Carr doing this because it just helps the team out, and whatever helps the team out helps out the city. Derek Carr will be a post-June 1st retirement according to Nick Underhill. So before the retirement, a Derek Carr release or cut would have been like an $80 million dead money cap hit. But now that he retired and it's a post-June 1st retirement, the Saints only have $40 million in dead money for Derek Carr due to previous restructures. And since it's a post-June 1st retirement, they can split that over the next 2 years. So they could pay $15 million in 2025 and like $30 million in 2026. I don't know the exact numbers and how it works, but basically they only have to pay a little bit now and then they pay the rest next offseason. Derek Carr helping them out again with the post-June 1st retirement. The Saints currently have $27 million in cap space, and I don't know how it's all going to work out, but if they add the $30 million that Derek Carr just gave back and take away, say, $20 million for the dead money cap hit, that would leave the Saints with about $37 million in cap space. I'm not sure if they would then go out and sign Keenan Allen or to go sign a big name free agent. I hope they don't. I hope they just stick with the guys they have on the roster. But now the Saints will have a lot more cap space and a lot more wiggle room in terms of carrying this cap number over to next year, so they won't have as much dead money that they have to pay off, and they won't be so much over the cap. Basically, all you need to know from this is that Derek Carr gave $30 million to the Saints, took $10 million, and now his dead money cap hit basically was cut in half from 80 to 40, and now that $40 million can be split over the next 2 off seasons. So financially, this is really good for the Saints, and Derek Carr retiring is good for the Saints in terms of a new era of Saints football. And speaking of which, with Derek Carr retiring, that leaves a clear path to the starting quarterback position and job. No one has to worry about if Derek Carr is going to come back or will he be the starter if he's healthy. There is a clear path for one of these guys to win the starting job. The Saints, as we all know, drafted Tyler Shuck in round 2 of the NFL draft a few weeks ago. That's Kellen Moore's guy. That's who he wanted. And in my opinion, I think it's Tyler Shuck's job to lose. However, though, Kellen Moore did say today that they will be having a quarterback competition between Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, and Jake Haener, although I don't think Jake Haener has a realistic chance to win. I think it's really between Rattler and Tyler Shuck. A lot of people do believe that Spencer Rattler has talent, including myself. I think he was put in a bad situation. I think he did struggle at times and had a lot of flaws that he needs to improve on. But I do think the talent is there. I think it will be a really fun and exciting competition to see. I'm glad he has a chance to compete for the starting job, but he has a lot to prove considering Kellen Moore basically drafted the quarterback he wanted his first year as a head coach in the 2nd round. It's Tyler Shuck's job to lose. Jake Haener is there, but I don't think he's part of the conversation. The Saints worked out quarterback Hunter Deckers at rookie minicamp. If they sign him, maybe he competes with the Jake Haener for the 3rd quarterback spot. I really don't know if Jake Haener has a spot on this team if they sign another quarterback. So this is a completely new era of Saints football. New head coach, New coaching staff, no ties to Sean Payton, no ties to Dennis Allen, no ties to Derek Carr. Derek Carr's retired. They drafted a quarterback in round 2, a completely new era. I'm excited. We got a young quarterback competition. Regardless of who wins, the Saints will have a young starting quarterback. I'm excited for it. I'm glad the Derek Carr experience in New Orleans is over, but I do wish him the best. Let me know down in the comments what you make of the Derek Carr retirement. I did my best to get this video out as soon as I possibly could. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, help support the channel, and I'll catch you next time. Have a good one.